All right, well, welcome to episode number 20 of the Oklahoma Weather Show. We are now at May 21st, 2014. This is supposed to be our rainy season. This is supposed to be one of the wettest times of the entire year for us. So far, it has not been, although we are getting really excited for what's coming in here in a couple of days. Hopefully get some rain out in western and southwestern Oklahoma, where we have been dealing with just a drought that feels like it has been going on for so long now. Last year, after central Oklahoma picked up a lot of rain, it looks like western and southwestern Oklahoma missed out on a good amount of that. So today we are talking with Lloyd Colston. He is the city emergency director for the city of Altus, about what exactly has been going on down in southwestern Oklahoma, and to give us an idea as to just how bad this drought really is. Meteorologist Jonathan Condert in charge of today's show and bringing Lloyd on. So Jonathan, take it away.
Well, first, Lloyd, we really appreciate you joining us today for the Oklahoma Weather Show. And I think a lot of people that are watching in Oklahoma City, if they haven't ventured into southwestern or western or northwestern Oklahoma or even the panhandles, they may be a little bit removed to how bad the drought really is. And, us meteorologists up here, we know how bad it is. So I thought, we really need to tell the story, share the story about how big the drought is impacting parts of western and southwestern Oklahoma, and you guys have been in the drought for quite a long time, and I thought, well, the best guy to talk to is you. So, Lloyd, how bad is it?
Well, Jonathan, first, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your show this afternoon. It's bad, but I want to first start out telling you Altus is not out of water. We have probably 2 to 3 years in one lake and 1 to 2 years in another of water available to the city of Altus. So we aren't out. That said, it is a stressful situation to many because they see the news about what's happening in other parts of the world, and it is bad here. But I'm going to point out that it is worse in other places. I know you've seen the pictures of Lubbock and the agriculture dire straits that is out there, the ground that's bare. I know you've heard about the drought in California, and it's bad there. Yes, we have been in a drought. We are in a drought, likely to be in a drought for a while longer, but we will get through it. Gary McManus himself told me the drought will end.
It will end. It will end eventually.
Yes. So, having said that, we are in stage 3 water conservation. My residents are encouraged not to use outdoor water unless it's absolutely necessary. The phrase I've been using for months now is need the water you use the water you need. Our car washes are closed 1 day a week on Mondays. Our citizens can water their yards on particular days during the week. There's a map on the City of Altus website at altusok.gov. So if you're interested in knowing when you can water your yard, look at the altusok.gov website, and you'll see that we're in stage 3 still. The trigger to going beyond stage 3 would be 20% in speed, but again, that's 20% in speed. We still have Lugert at around 10%, and we drew down Lugert today to fill up our City of Altus reservoir in the city limits. So we have water. We will continue to have water, and I just encourage the citizens to join us in conserving the water that we have.
So, Lloyd, I guess the question I have, I've done a lot of storm chasing across parts of Oklahoma, and I've been through Altus and southwestern Oklahoma a bunch of times. The city of Altus, you were talking about 2 reservoirs that you can get your water from. What are those 2 lakes that you guys draw from?
Tom Steed is located in Powell County, north of Snyder, and it serves the city of Altus and Snyder, and Tillman County. There's some other customers in Tillman County, I believe. That lake is our primary water source for Altus. We also use, I'm old school. It's always been Lake Lugert to me. The proper name is Lake Altus Lugert or Lake Lugert Altus. It's located on the Greer-Kiowa County line. It's the older of the two lakes, and it normally provides the city of Altus water and farm irrigation. But sadly, the farmers aren't able to irrigate as much now because of the drought.
Lloyd, real quick, so just so I can get an understanding, because I'm the newer guy, so Lake Altus, otherwise is known as Lake Lugert?
Yes.
Okay, so basically it's an interchangeable name. Okay. All right. Just want to get some clarification.
I'm the old guy, so I'm going to refer to this during our show as Lake Lugert. That's a lake up between Greer and Kiowa County, and Tom Steed is a lake over in Kiowa County.
Now, when was the last time that lake was 100% full?
Oh, I don't remember that. I've been here 7 years, and it would have maybe been Tropical Storm Irene that came through in 2008. It would have filled up that lake twice nicely, I think.
Is that what you're basically getting your hopes up for now, is some type of tropical storm activity come in and just fill up those lakes? Do you think that's your best bet?
About 2 years now, I've been looking for a Texas-sized hurricane just to come up here and put some water in our lakes.
I know you guys need it. And you know what? That might be the best. That might be the best thing that you need. How much rain do you think it will take for those lakes to become full?
According to the Oklahoma Climate Survey, we're 50 inches behind since October 2010, and I don't know that if we got enough rain to bring us back to normal this year, I don't know that would fill up the lake. Even if we got, I'll say, 12 inches of rain, if we could increase the lake to, say, 30 to 40% full, that's still not enough to get us out of our stage 3 water conservation, I don't think.
I was curious, do you think there's a point in which the drought can last for so long that you have a new type of ecosystem set up that it's almost as if you don't need as much rain? Do you think the longer you all stay in this drought, the more the land can, I guess, compensate for that, and thus you can almost get out of a drought because you've been in a drought for so long, if that makes sense? Do you think there's a way in which that might happen? Do you think you all might even be headed there?
To answer your first question, can we be in a prolonged drought? And historically, I'm looking at the 30 years of wet that we had from 70 to 2000, and that's certainly a possibility. Our drought cycles have not been 30 years, however. So on one hand, we've been spoiled, as we've had explained, we've been spoiled. But on the other hand, I'm looking that if this is a 10-year drought, we're halfway through it already.
Hey Lloyd, this is Danielle here. You might have already said it, but what exactly is the percentage full on the lake currently?
Steed is like at 23%, and Luger is just right around 10% now.
Okay, thanks.
But again, if you focus on percentages, you may not get the full picture.
Right.
Because that 10% still represents over a year's worth of water for Altus.
Okay.
So it's 10% full, or is that 10%? I know a lot of times when we talk about what's happening here in our central Oklahoma lakes, you have your pool, and then you have your emergency level where basically you can't tap into that water really at all. So is that like a confirmed 10%, or is there a certain area of water that you all don't count because it's for extreme emergency only?
You're talking, I think, about the dead pool?
Yes.
And I'm looking at 10% of being available to the city of Altus. Now, how much of that is going to be? Here's part of the when your water intake is when you get down to that 10%, your water treatment plants are going to work extra hard. So it may be difficult at that point to use the water efficiently, but we're going to have to use it because that's what we have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, I have a question. So, Lloyd, I'm looking at Google Maps here, and I see Lake Lugert, or Lake Altus, which is, you know, the Quartz Mountain State Park, and then I see Tom Steed Reservoir. Where are the water treatment plants? Are they in Altus where you actually bring the water down via open canal or pipe and then treat the water in Altus, or is the water treated at the lake? Can you explain that setup a little bit?
Yeah, if you'll take your Google map down to Altus, you'll see the Altus City Reservoir, and the Altus City Reservoir is where the water from Lugert goes. And then from there, it goes into the water treatment plant. Now, on the Tom Steed side, there's a water pipe. The water pipe brings the water over to the water treatment plant from Tom Steed. The canals are open to Lugert. It's a water pipe going to Steed.
Great. I can see that on Google Maps. That makes perfect sense to me when I'm looking at it. All right.
So, Lloyd, go over these. So what are we looking right here? I have a screen share that with these pictures that you provided. Kind of talk us through some of these photos that we have up here.
That picture there is of the canal coming from Lugert to the city of Altus. That picture was a drawdown last year, and what we did, we filled up the reservoir, and the water comes down the canal. That's a picture of the water running down the canal. There's one that I sent you today showing the canal's even more fuller because we're doing another drawdown today to put more water into the Altus Reservoir here in the city.
I'll try to find that picture. So this right here, what is this?
That is a picture of the reservoir in the city of Altus, and this would represent about a 30-day supply. If Steed and Lugert both water was not available, we would have about a 30-day supply from that source, not counting our water towers, not counting what people store in their homes. Remember, I'm an emergency manager, and I've been encouraging folks, 30-day supply, not necessary 3 days supply, have 72 hours of disaster stuff. So when the tornado comes, when the wildfire hits, you're able to live for 72 hours on your own, self-sufficient, before while the government works to restore essential services to you.
What about this photo?
That's another shot of the reservoir. You'll see that it's lower. The picture I sent you this week shows it even lower than that. But again, this is going to be filled up, we'll say, and people walking around the reservoir will see water in there, and that would be the plan is to mix that water with Steed water and maybe improve our water quality in Altus.
Now, how deep is this that we're looking right here? Are we, because I can see what appears to be the soil, the bottom of the lake poking up. So is it like that all the way through?
No, that's really the shallow end up there. The deep end is over to your right, and you can drown in it. It's deep enough that it's over my head many times over.
And taking some extreme measures now, aren't we?
Yes, our car washes in stage 3 are are closed 1 day a week. They close on Monday, and the car washes have been very, very kind to do that. And I know it's an impact on their bottom line, but they're doing their part to help us get through this drought.
How long have you all been having businesses having to take such practices?
About a year, roughly. It's been we've been in stage 3 at least a year. Now I'm going to remind folks they're fixated. Some of my residents are concerned about stage 4, and I had stage 4 conditions in the last 2 years. We went to stage 4 for a brief period of time when a pipe broke coming from Steed, and then we had a valve failure over at Steed, and that prevented us getting water, and just automatically went to stage 4 for that. So the people here have already encountered that. It's I don't want to minimize it. It is an emergent situation, but certainly one that we've been in and got out of fairly quickly.
What happens when you go to stage 4?
No outdoor water use at all.
Wow. Do you think will there be a lot of uproar with that, with the residents saying, "Oh, I want to keep my lawn green," or do they understand if we run out of water, we're gonna die? I mean, that's pretty much the case. I mean, people, you know, it's weird. You turn on the light switch, electricity is there, it's all fine and dandy, you know. But you take water away, you can't live without water very long.
Well, but the uproar would be the mental side of that. If I tell you that you don't have any water today, then you're going to go down to Walmart, or you're going to go to Walgreens, or you're going to go to United, and you're going to get you a flat of water and bring it home. That's a temporary. Our temporary stage 4s have been that. They've been temporary until the repairs are made on the infrastructure. Now, if we go to stage 4, what does that mean? The number one goal in our incident action plan is the safe delivery of water to our customers. We have to do that. It's a life safety issue, as you pointed out. So we're going to conserve our water at stage 4 so we can do that. And we're still going to use Tom Steed, we're still going to use Luger, and we're still going to use the city reservoir and the water stored in the water towers to make sure that we can achieve a safe delivery of water to our citizens.
Is this the worst it's ever been, or has it been worse?
Well, you're talking to an old boy from Southwestern Oklahoma who lived through, wasn't very old then, but I lived through the 50s drought out here, and it was bad then. It's bad now. We will get through this. This is a temporary hardship, but if we're all in this together, if we conserve, we will get in this together. We will get out of this drought together. And like Gary said, he promised it's going to end.
Hey, his word is stronger than oak. You know, we talk a lot about the drought that we can see. We can see it in the lake levels. Last year, when I met you, when we took the KOCO newscast on the road, there was also the drought that you couldn't see, the agriculture drought, because you just drive by these big fields and just assume that farmers are plowing and that they're doing what they have to do. What is happening right now within the ag community down in that part of the state with this drought?
I don't want to paint a dismal picture. I want to paint a realistic picture. And the farmers here historically are hurting. They aren't getting to irrigate their crops unless they do it out of a well. And Luger was the supply for irrigating the crops out here. So we've had a number of years of agriculture that haven't had the wheat harvest coming through, and haven't had the wheat harvesters coming through spending money in our cafes and in our stores. You now have smallest population of beef herds since the 1930s. From a meteorology standpoint, this is now the driest it's been since the 30s. So I'm painting some analogies to the Dust Bowl, not in Altus, but in the region. And I want to quickly address the fact I believe this is a regional problem that the federal government should be addressing. It's obviously more than a city of Altus problem, because it's not just Altus in the exceptional drought, so our state government should be addressing and are. I'll give a quick plug for our Oklahoma Emergency Management, because while we have had infrastructure breakage, we've documented that, and we got $100,000 from our state emergency management last year, and we're on track to do that again this year, just for the infrastructure that's breaking around Altus.
So Lloyd, I have a question for you. Is the city worried? The city managers, the local government, are you worried that people are leaving? They're going to move away and just say, I can't farm here. I'm going somewhere else.
Well, not so much the farmer, because they're. I'm the husband of the farmer's daughter, and I know that the dairyman that she is related to, they're married to the land. It's going to be tough to get them to move, but I see a number of people in Altus that are moving. Not necessarily, I can't necessarily attribute that to the drought, but economics, job transfers, those kind of things that get people moving here in Altus. And there's houses for sale in Altus. If you want to buy one, come on down. You can be a neighbor.
I got we know that Altus has a very good relationship with the U.S. Air Force. If the Air Force Base was not down there and this drought continued for at least another 5 to 10 years, what would happen to the city of Altus itself?
Well, you're projecting that we're going to run out of water, and I really don't see that I don't see that happening. You know, there are plans, regardless of first off, the lakes, will they stay empty forever? We're in a drought. It's going to end. The city of Altus is working on well fills. One particular well fill should be coming on this fall. And that's just one. There's a number of well fills around the city of Altus that we're moving towards the tapping to get extra water into Altus. Beyond that, there is the thought of a pipeline to move water through here. There's been discussion of rail delivery of water, which is not a cheap process, but it's an option that keeps us from running out of water. So there's all kinds of opportunities that we have that I want to stress to the citizens. We don't have to use those opportunities if we all conserve. Obviously, in my mind, if the city of Altus is not able to supply water to our Department of Defense partners, that is going to be a bad thing. I firmly believe in the Airman's Creed. The last line of it says, "And we will not fail." And I want to thank the city of Altus will not fail in this regard of continuing to deliver safe water to our customers, including Altus Air Force Base.
So is the city, are they taking future initiatives? Because I've always heard it said, every drought will come to an end, like you've been saying, but another one is right around the corner. So what is the city doing? Are they starting in the schools? Are they starting with the farmers, with education of your community? Are they pushing xeriscaping or the landscaping that doesn't require much water? What are they doing for that next drought?
Yes. The short answer is we are educating our population, have been for a number of years. on social media and newspaper articles, even in our electric bills. Our electric bill this month says that you should conserve water. The city's water supply continues to decline due to lingering drought conditions, and we ask each customer to take action, and they're referred to the city's webpage for the appropriate action to take. On Facebook, the city's Facebook page regularly posts tips on how to conserve. We've been doing that for over a year, 2 years now. One of our vendors, the gas company, offered low-flow shower head. You call them, and they will send them to you for free. So all you had to do was go in and take the old shower head off and put the new one on. Those are the kind of initiatives we've been doing for the last 2 years at least. It's really working out here. I'm willing to mention that our water conservation is a double-edged sword, though, because when you ask someone, don't flip on the light, don't turn on your electricity, for example, that's a kilowatt hour of juice that you don't get to sell. And the city cannot sell the water when we're asking people don't water. So it's a financial impact to the city in that regard.
Is there a way in which you talk a lot about bringing water in and filling the lakes? Is it possible to reach over the state line to go into Texas? Let's say there's something going on there, and connect a pipeline from Texas into Oklahoma, or do you have to stay strictly within the state borders?
Well, that's an interesting question, and one that is on the table to investigate, because Texas is in a drought, and part of them need water worse than Altus does. For example, Wichita Falls is at stage 5. They are cloud seeding. 2 cities south of Wichita Falls and Clay County are about 90 days from running out of water. And again, I'm looking at this as a regional problem where the federal government needs to be able to support their local government partners. So, can we bring Texas water to Altus? And one little aspect of that is there are 3 counties in the panhandle of Texas that have water available. And one proposal on the table is to bring that water through Oklahoma down to Tarrant County. So it's Texas water headed to Texas, but it's going to come through Oklahoma, path of least resistance, shortest distance, direct line, and that's an idea that's been proposed. So can we do it? I don't know yet. It hasn't been studied thoroughly, but it's certainly an option that we're looking at.
I think it's interesting that you bring up the Wichita Falls cloud seeding project. That everybody knows about that, because usually I've always thought that's something that a community or that keeps it hush-hush, because in the past, I can't refer to a specific instance, but lawsuits, here comes a flood right after you cloud seed, and it wipes away my house. Well, the city responsible for maybe creating that flood, I'm going to sue the city. So sometimes I've heard these projects being kind of quiet. And then my second point would be, if Wichita Falls is cloud seeding and it's effective, I guess with that southwesterly flow, Altus could benefit from it too, right?
Well, Wichita Falls is southeast of Altus, so if they're seeding to get water in Wichita Falls, we won't benefit so much from it. But there is that thought that you mentioned, but there is a school, and remember, you're talking to an old boy that remembers the drought of the 50s, and I remember the cloud seeding out around Lubbock, and it didn't, as I recall, it didn't quite help Lubbock so much, but it sure helped us over here in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually a cloud seeding project that went on a couple summers ago east of Amarillo, and the pictures were actually documented quite nicely because it produced this hailstorm that the storm just popped up east of Amarillo. It sat there for about an hour or two. I remember the day vividly watching the storm just sitting there, and it left piles of piles of hail that had to have been at least 6 feet high. As a matter of fact, actually, while y'all are talking, I'm going to try to find some screen grabs because remember I took some pictures of it. But there have been many instances where some cloud seeding goes well, and then you end up creating an entirely different atmosphere, and sometimes it can kind of go awry there. But yeah, I mean I actually didn't even know that Wichita Falls was cloud seeding until you had just mentioned that, Lloyd. So interesting, and I guess that's desperation there, isn't it?
Well, and you look at that, I'm going to remind you, too, that Wichita Falls, in the midst of their cloud seeding, had 2 record events from rainfall days. So maybe there's something to say for it.
Lloyd, I've got another question for you. Forgive me for not knowing this because I'm actually doing a story today on lake recreation. Is lake
Can anybody hear Danielle?
No, Danielle, you dropped off.
Try it again, Danielle.
No. Wait.
okay? Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I was just asking. I'm doing a story today on recreation on lakes, and so forgive me for not knowing, but is your lake just for water supply, or can people swim in it, or fish, boat? I know it's obviously a really low lake, but in general, what is it generally used for?
I'm going to address Steve first because recreational use out here tends to be fishing.
Okay.
With some boating, and I don't know the boating on Steve, but I do know that they can go fishing over there, and I'm assuming they can get their boat out there and go fishing from the boat.
Okay.
And, because there are fish there. The fishing report this week showed that they were catching crappie, for example.
Okay.
Now, Luger is a different animal because the fish died and they haven't restocked the fish. So the recreational uses of Luger, I know my son-in-law loves to go rock climbing. So this is a good time for him because there's plenty of rocks sticking out of Luger he can go climb, but there aren't any fish there, and by extension, because we get the water from Luger down to the city of Altus Reservoir, there wouldn't be any fish there as well. And until we get out of the drought, we probably can't expect the folks to restock the lakes, Luger and the reservoir.
Are they both swimmable? Can people swim in these?
Not allowed in the city reservoir.
Okay.
You can get wet in Luger, but it's gonna be miles and miles of sandy beaches getting to the water.
Thanks.
So I guess to kind of wrap this all up, Lloyd, so I'm hearing, wow, the water levels are so low in Luger, the fish have died. You still have plenty of water left in your reservoirs. You're not worried about that. The city is doing a great job with people conserving water at stage 3 conservation. So it looks like you guys are doing very well. What are your thoughts from afar? The city of Altus has a population of about 20,000 people. Oklahoma City, not including the suburbs of Norman or Moore or Edmond or Yukon or whatever, has a population of 600,000. So we're using 30 times more water. That's just based on pure population, just OKC. What are your thoughts on Oklahoma City? And maybe you can't answer this, but sitting from afar, are you going, man, I see the drought coming into Oklahoma City. I see you guys are on the verge of, going to, an extreme to exceptional drought, do you have concerns for Oklahoma City that we're not doing enough to conserve our water? Like because here's the deal. I was driving into work today, and there's this business which is watering their lawn, and their little sprayers are on the north side of the lawn, and the south wind every morning has been blowing it into the street. Not a drop has made it on their lawn, and I drive by and I'm like literally banging my head going, what are you doing? You're throwing it away. Anyways, I'm done with my soapbox.
Jonathan, I feel you.
What are your thoughts? You're doing a great job down there. Awesome.
And thank you for that. And we want to do an even better job for our citizens in Altus. If I were you and I saw that, I don't know that I wouldn't stop. And I've done that in Altus. When we first got into this drought thing in Altus, I stopped and told the business, you're not doing any good by watering during the day. It's going to evaporate. Just consider either changing your timer cycle or turn it off altogether, because your grass really looks nice. Now, if I know the city of Oklahoma City has a odd even watering plan, and if they're violating that, that's a code violation, and I certainly am not opposed, and I've done it here in Altus. I called code enforcement and said, go write them a ticket, and that's a ticketable offense if you violate water use in Altus. And our law enforcement, they're writing tickets here. So the citizens, if you observe that, be proactive. It's your water that they're wasting.
Do you think Oklahoma City could do more right now to conserve water? We're only doing odd-numbered or odd-even days. Do you think Oklahoma City should do more right now, from your perspective?
Well, I'm looking at this from the Stafford Act. If I were Oklahoma City right now, I would be looking at the hazard mitigation plan that the county and city has. Does the plan address drought? And if it does, what is the action plan for mitigating that drought? For example, our mitigation plan out here is tied to wells, so we can get FEMA reimbursement through the hazard mitigation plan because our plan addresses wells. We can drill wells and get FEMA reimbursement for that. But if there's another hazard, for example, will hazard mitigation restock the lakes? That's an obvious no. But if it was in the plan, it would become more likely that FEMA would reimburse the restocking of the lakes. And I'm going to brag on my folks at FEMA and, again, in emergency management, because they've been tremendous partners helping us get through this drought. But it's going to take a big picture look. As Albert Ashwood, the director of emergency management in Oklahoma, said at a recent meeting, drought is tough. Tornado comes through, it tears up stuff. We know what we need to replace. But a drought comes through, and what does it tear up? What needs to be replaced? What can we do to fix this? And that's why drought is so hard in an emergency management arena.
And it's hard to get people's attention too. I know, we write up a story on the internet saying, hey, tornadoes possible this weekend. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of clicks. You write up a story about drought, it's just not sexy. People don't want to click on it. They're like, that, I don't care about the drought, so they're less likely to take action.
And that's an exactly good point, because I'm going to use a parallel. How often do you broadcast the UV index today in Altus is 10, but you don't care about the UV index today in Altus until you get cancer or you get sunburn?
Mm-hmm. One thing I've noticed also, especially a drought, because to me, a drought, especially in Oklahoma City, the story doesn't carry well because people here in neighborhoods have irrigation systems. They have sprinklers. So really, the drought is for outside the city where it's not being affected by sprinkler systems. You know, I look at your all's rainfall totals that you've had so far in the last 365 days, thanks to the Oklahoma Mesonet. You're standing at 12.9 inches. I don't know what your soil needs to recover, but I can't imagine that 12.9 inches of rain is gonna do much. But at the same time, I know that this weekend, I mean, there has to be some type of excitement level building, knowing that you've got this cutoff low pressure system that is just going to wobble around coming in. Has there been any type of talk as far as, hey, look what's coming in here this weekend, or are you just in the stage now where you're saying, I'll believe it when I see it?
Well, I have heard it's awesome. And I have personally said, you know, when you look at the models, and this was like days ago when I was looking at models, and I got asked at our department head meeting, well, what's it going to do this weekend? And there was a measure of excitement. I'm going, well, one model says it's going to park, and we're going to rain over the Texas Panhandle, and that's going to put water into Luger. That's a good thing. Another model I saw had a band of rain from Lubbock to Abilene. It misses Altus altogether. And the next model I looked at didn't have anything about anything in Altus. So the part of me is saying I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm telling you, we get excited out here about 2/10.
I don't blame you. I do too. I do too. You know, just looking right now, the humidity level is up 8% from this time yesterday. The dew points are up, and it actually, just looking at the Mesonet right now, in our net, the dew point is up 20 degrees from this time yesterday. So as each day that we get closer to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it looks like the atmosphere is trying to prepare western Oklahoma for rainfall. That I did a story a couple days ago, not so much pinpointing on how much rain we were going to see, but where it was hopefully going to fall.
Yes.
You know, I hope that it gives you guys just days and days of rain. I hope it ruins all those outdoor plans for this Memorial Day weekend. That's how much I want it to rain.
Thank you. I'm sure that their listeners out here will appreciate that. I'm going to mention your story 2 days ago, and I appreciate your talking about rain in all the right places. But remember, this is drought area, so if we get all that 4 inches of rain that the models are saying that we're going to get, that is not enough to get us out of the exceptional drought. It will be a good start. I'll also encourage the viewers to pay attention, because I get a lot of wildfire calls after it rains. The governor's burn ban is still in place. That is a tremendous effect of drought. We are having, I think, more wildfires because of drought than you don't normally think of Oklahoma as a wildfire state, but we have our share, and we have our share out here in southwest Oklahoma. So be careful. Do not burn. Enjoy your weekend activities. Carry your umbrella just in case. Be aware of lightning. Oh, and I remember that this is the driest since 1895. Fraser flooded about that time. That was a drought cycle. So we need to be aware that it can flood during a drought. Be extra, turn around, don't drown. Yes, pray for rain. And I need to brag on our Ministerial Alliance for over a year now. They have been assembling at the courthouse 8 o'clock every Sunday night to pray for rain for not only Altus, but for our neighbors to our south and west, and all of whom are in the same drought that we are.
Well, it will come. It will definitely come. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to plug, Lloyd? We're getting ready to end this show, but anything else you want to add?
Oh, we'll talk about social media if you'll.
Absolutely, go ahead. Plug it away.
If you'll follow the social media, if you'll look at the City of Altus Facebook page, you'll know whenever there is something talked about drought, the water. our last city council meeting. The audio is up there already on the Facebook page. You can see that. You can hear that. Hear what the people are planning. We'll mention Humanity Road and the Oklahoma Virtual Operations Support Team. They are actively engaged in helping us get the word out about the drought in southwest Oklahoma and all over western North Texas. So appreciate the partnerships with, again, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Land Reclamation, our Mesonet partners at the Oklahoma Climate Survey, Rick Smith and our friends at the National Weather Service, Skywarn. I'll plug Skywarn even. Oh, let's not forget Hamilton Radio, because they are an essential part of the Skywarn program out here in southwest Oklahoma, and I appreciate you having me on the show, Damon.
Well, absolutely, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan's the one who's who brought you on, and you know, Lloyd, we know that you guys have a lot going on down there in southwest Oklahoma. We as well here in Oklahoma City will pray for rain, and hopefully this weekend will be the start of something wonderful, and hopefully El Nino will set herself up, and we'll bring more rain come the wintertime. So, Jonathan, you did a great job today setting this up. Bringing Lloyd on, and Lloyd will probably talk to you again a little bit later in the year, and see how things have changed since May. So thanks again, and that is episode number 20 of the Oklahoma Weather Show.